Hey folks, welcome to another video of Matro's Travel. I'm Matro and today I'm in Jerash. So Jerash was known as Gerasa in the past. It's a very old city known as the Pompeii of the Middle East because it's so well preserved. The city, there's evidence that dates back to 7500 BC, so it's very old. But it has been conquered by a king from Jerusalem around in the 12th century and was abandoned afterwards. And people got back during the Ottoman time around, I think, the 16th century. And I've been living here ever since, as you can see here. And in the 20th century they actually got here and uncovered the ancient parts of the city which we're going to explore now. And right now I'm over here at the start at the Hardan's gate, which is right behind me. So that's the entrance gate to Jerash, and let's go and explore. So with the Hardan's gate, I'm actually really impressed by how well preserved it is. All the intricate details, everything is still there. So it's really impressive to see this gate here. So also from the gate, just right beside, on the left side, there's the Hippodrome, which is also gigantic, and I'm gonna just explore it now. And we're on the Hippodrome, or how I like to call it, the ancient Formula 1, because on here they had the ancient horse races and people were just watching and cheering on them and betting on them for sure. And it's actually quite an impressive sight. It's very well preserved. I think it's one of the best preserved hippodromes I have seen so far. So wow, never expected to see this here actually. So opposite the Hippodrome, so the Hippodrome is here. On the opposite there's a small little church you can see. And there's actually really beautiful mosaics here on the floor. So even though the church itself might be quite small, the mosaics are really quite impressive because they're so well preserved. So definitely just have a small look on it. Fun fact about the Hippodrome. So in the 4th century it got actually turned into an amphitheater and was mostly being also used by gladiators. But they just cut a part of the Hippodrome off and just used it as theater. So it's quite weird in a way because there's another one over there. But interesting to know. Evidence of it you can actually find here. So there are some parts of the amphitheater wall still left. So it was more or less around here. So you see, this is the other side of the Hippodrome. And here you see the part where we were before. And this part here was basically used as the amphitheater, this small part. And now we are officially walking into the ancient city of Jerash, which is really impressive to look at already with all those antique walls here and the beautiful gate. And wow, I can't wait to explore everything. So basically you walk from the Hippodrome all the way up to the gate. And here from the gate you already have the military barracks and the souk area, or the ancient market. And you're just gonna walk past here and there should be a temple, so let's see. And walking up the souks you can already see the oval plaza, which is really just incredible to look at. It's one of its kind. It was actually built to kind of connect the city to the sanctuary of Zeus. And from here, you can actually already see the steps towards the temple, which you're gonna go next. But just looking at this plaza, it kind of reminds me on the Vatican, the St. Peter's Dome, the front plaza of it. It's built kind of the same way. And it's just really impressive. But let's go up to the temple of Zeus. In the temple of Zeus. This is so impressive. I think this is the only temple I ever walked in which has part of the temple walls, the inner temple walls, still intact. I can't believe it. This is fascinating. And also like this temple is like perhaps, I must say, the only temple in the whole world which has been used to worship a god, like the same god, for the longest time, like from the mid-Bronze Ages up to the late Roman Empire, which never happened usually with any of the other temples because they got conquered and they changed gods, or like the Muslims came, turned it into a mosque, or the Christians into a church, and so on. But this didn't happen with this temple for a very, very long time. So this is why it actually has this record. So, and from this temple, you can also have a beautiful view over the Oval Plaza, which is really just even more impressive now looking at it from up here. Like, I cannot believe it. I really just can't believe it how beautiful this ancient city actually is. So right beside the temple there is the Southern Amphitheater. So you can see, here's the temple, and I walked all the way back up. Good workout to walk up here. Anyway, this theater is also very well preserved. I can still see a lot of the columns here and how it actually kind of looked like in the past. The higher parts of the wall are not there anymore, but the lower parts, so you can get kind of like an idea of how it actually looked like. So and now I'm walking from the Oval Plaza towards the Temple of Artemis, and this was basically kind of like the main street. You can also see like where the carriages sort of went here. And this street is really impressive with all the columns around. So just imagining like being here back in the day, just walking on this beautiful street. It must have been quite an incredible feeling. So on this street it was also like where a lot of the markets were. There's also a mosque down here, but there isn't much left there of it. Just from there's a cathedral from the Byzantine era. So I just walked up here. Beautiful steps with the columns. I'm just gonna explore it here a little bit. Like, I didn't expect that the city would have a cathedral here. I'm really surprised. This is the cathedral, or what's left of it. Incredible. Things you would never expect to find here. On this cathedral here there's also like a fountain, which is right here. And there is a legend with the fountain that at a certain time in the year the water in here turned into wine. Which kind of like reminds me of a certain other story where water got turned into wine, but okay. But it's just a legend anyway, and well, nice story to tell, I guess. I'm on the upper part of the cathedral, which is also really impressive with all those columns here still intact. So I can't believe it. And from here, we also have a beautiful view to the Temple of Artemis, which I hope we're gonna see soon. Just beside the cathedral you have the Nymphaeum, which is, to make it short, the main fountain of the city. So here's actually where every house got their water supply. It's actually really quite big for just a fountain. So also like quite an impressive building to see on here. And the next stop is the Temple of Artemis, finally. So I'm actually just walking up to it. It's quite a long walk. You have like this impressive gateway here from the main street. This must have been looking so cool in the past. So you pass all those steps and the sanctuary of Artemis. And here's the temple. So the Temple of Artemis is actually really quite a big area. So you have like this big courtyard here with the columns around already. Then the temple itself. The temple, it was supposed to have 32 columns, but they only built 12 of them. There's no info why they just built 12. I guess nobody really knows about why. But it was like Artemis was the main deity of the city, and therefore it also got the biggest temple, of course. You can see this area is really gigantic here with the courtyard, everything. It must have looked so impressive back in the days. Also in later times it has been probably used as a church as well. There's evidence for it. So it has been basically reused at some point as well. So to the left of the temple there's also something interesting to see. There's the place where they actually cut the stones. And they rebuilt the stone cutting machine. So you can see the machine right here. So they used water to power it. And this is the part here where they were actually cutting the stones. So just as a little side note here. So, and across the temple, like here's the temple. If you walk down here beside the Northern Theater, there's a small church. I think it's the Byzantine Church of Isaiah. And here you have some really impressive mosaic going on. It's not as well preserved as from the other small church, but it's actually still kind of nice to look at, I must say. So, and from the church, if you walk a little bit down, you actually get to the Northern Theater, which is right here. I feel like it's much better preserved than the southern one. It's also smaller than the southern one, but you have more parts of the wall still intact, but less of the columns and so on, so it depends how you see it. It's certainly a nice theater here. From the theater, see it here, you can go out and you're at the Agora. So now the Agora here hasn't really been excavated yet that much, so there's still a lot of work going on for it. But the Agora, you can say it was like the place to go, like where everybody met in the past. So to make it short, everything that happened in the city usually happened here. If you needed to have some gossip, you also always went here. Everything, literally everything. Like it was the meeting point of the ancient world, the Agora. From the forum, you can walk directly to the Decumanus, which is another cross point here in the city. You have also like the West Baths and the Northern Gate going from here. And it's the best preserved area here of the city. So even like the sewers still have the metal iron bars attached and everything. So you can really say it's like really well preserved. Also there's like this beautiful arch here, which I'm really in love with. And the column street as well, with I think nearly all columns still intact. So like this is like the must see at the end of the tour, because afterwards you already have the Northern Gate, which is closed because you can't exit it. You can just walk around and actually see how the city looked like here in the past. From here you can see the West Baths. They're also still quite nice intact, but you can't really visit them, but you can see them from here actually. They look pretty cool and also pretty huge, I must say. And I'm back at the Oval Plaza, and that's pretty much it for the video. So I hope I was able to show you some interesting parts of the ancient city of Jerash. And if you liked the video, hit the like button down below. Remember to subscribe and see you next video. Bye!